The reviews have been in for a while, and Overwatch 2 has largely been discussed to the point that I'm sure everyone knows what to expect. So rather than give an in-depth review, I'm going to focus instead on how my experience playing the game has been. I didn't play the original Overwatch much past its first year, and because I wasn't invested, I have no strong feelings or expectations. But before I get into my thoughts, here's a quick rundown of Overwatch 2. The TLDR is... Overwatch 2 is very similar to the original Overwatch. The game is largely objective-based, with payload and capture-the-point maps. There are rotating game modes in arcade that add a little variety, such as elimination, 1v1, and deathmatch, but the game is mainly balanced around the previously mentioned objective modes. Playing the game, I was having exactly as much fun in Overwatch 2 that I was having early on with the original Overwatch, and therein lies the problem. Overwatch 2 appears to have been marketed as a sequel, but at its core, it's not a sequel. It's a rebrand. A very specific rebrand, in fact. They've changed from 6v6 to 5v5, rebalanced the game around 5v5, added some new skins for the cast, and reworked some of the heroes. But the most important change, and what I think is the main reason Blizzard has been saying this is a sequel, is that loot boxes have been removed. Instead of loot boxes, there's now a battle pass similar to most free-to-play games. I think marketing Overwatch 2 as a completely separate game to Overwatch is so that there can be no confusion about if the game should be allowed in regions where more recent gambling laws have banned loot boxes. Basically, Blizzard is saying, this isn't Overwatch, this is Overwatch 2, and we've learned our lesson with asking people to give us money for loot boxes. Now we ask people to give us money with a battle pass like everyone else. So, it's a bit sad that Overwatch 2 isn't really a sequel. It's more like a formally dressed up patch of the original Overwatch, and I can understand people being upset or disappointed. I mean, even when installing the game, the shortcut that it makes is just the original Overwatch icon, which I think actually says everything that needs to be said. Moving on from the public reception, I want to switch over to what my perception of the game is, at least at this point in time. When Overwatch 2 was released, I thought, I had fun playing Overwatch, and I bet I'd have fun playing Overwatch 2 as well. But I know better than to get into a multiplayer game without having a group of people to play with. I'm sure I could have played and enjoyed it for a little while, but having friends to play with somewhat regularly gives the game a longevity that doesn't exist playing solo. Luckily, I had a friend that reached out and asked if I was going to get into Overwatch 2, which meant I would have at least one other person to play with, which was the push I needed to take the plunge. I've been putting a lot of hours into Overwatch 2, and I'm realizing that it's been cathartic to have a game to just, play. Not focus on getting to the next rank, not focus on making sure my KD ratio is particularly good, but just play a game for the sake of playing a game and having fun doing that. That's not to say I don't intend to play competitive mode or try to win when I'm doing so, but it's nice to just be able to jump into quick play and not be too invested in how the game goes. I think that's a lot of what I've been missing in playing video games, and a lot of the feelings I had when I was younger. I don't miss being younger, but I do miss being able to just jump into a game and play with friends to unwind. I had a similar instance of remembering I could just play games to have mindless fun when the original Overwatch came out. Although I wasn't particularly excited for Overwatch, and I actually played it on my friend's account, I did go through a period of time where I was just playing Overwatch and having a great time. I didn't care about how I did or if my team lost, I just had fun playing the game. I had so much fun, in fact, that despite being in school and having classes and exams to study for, I dumped hours and hours into Overwatch to grind loot boxes for the summer games. I remember I specifically wanted a particular Tracer skin. I didn't want to buy the loot boxes because I was playing on my friend's account, so I played every day for the entire event so I could get as many loot boxes from leveling up as possible. Then, on the very last day of the event, I got the skin I wanted, but the bittersweet realization that I was on my friend's account sunk in and I lost interest and went back to focusing on school. By the time I was able to freely spend time on Overwatch again, I bought it myself and found that lots of things had changed. Matchmaking times were slower, and there were more restrictions in place that made it harder to just jump in and play. Often I would wait 5 to 10 minutes only to backfill a game that was right about to end and have to queue up and wait all over again. I found myself waiting in skirmish lobbies for long periods at a time and realized that a large amount of the time I was spending on Overwatch was waiting for the chance to have fun. I'm glad that at least now with Overwatch 2 I'm able to get placed in games in a reasonable amount of time. Roll queue can slow things down, but I'm never in a position of waiting 5 to 10 minutes to get into a game, especially when queuing for all and roll queue. The amount of fun I'm having just grinding quick play and getting comfortable with the game gives me hope for the longevity of my personal enjoyment with Overwatch 2. I just hope Blizzard doesn't ruin it. Thanks for watching, take care, and remember, keep having fun.